Hi, shalom everyone, Moadim l'simcha, Chag Sameach, and a special edition over here. We are going to speak about Chol HaMoed itself, outings, activities. What do we do? Just a few tidbits within regards to this auspicious week we are in at the moment here on Chol HaMoed Pesach. Naturally, we know there are two Chol HaMoeds, specifically during the year of Sukkot and Pesach, naturally. So what do we do on these specific days in of itself? I'm just right outside a Lego outing extravaganza area over here in the Ayalon Mall in Ramat Gan, naturally over here, and just to share over words, outings is one of the key ingredients about this specific day in of itself. Actually, we've got a nice ceiling and chandelier just right behind me also. But there's interesting things that can be pointed out to Chol HaMoed, because it's not really the Chag itself, it's not really the Yom Tov itself, it's a part of the entire Yom Tov. It's a collection, it's an interim days of Sukkot and Pesach, naturally. What's interesting actually is that, for example, Chol HaMoed Pesach, it's a Mikra Kodesh, it actually says, and that this entails that there should be a specific honor for this day, kavod, as they say, and there should be oneg. Also, oneg is joy, like we say, oneg Shabbat. There should be a specific joy for this specific day in of its own right. How can we do this, friends? The kavod of the day. Leave a special tablecloth, for example. That's one of the ideas that we can do during on this auspicious time. Leave on the table, just like on Shabbat we have a fancy tablecloth. We also do this naturally on the festival all throughout these 7 days of Pesach. It's not necessarily an obligation, I believe, on Chol HaMoed to have, especially on Pesach, to have a bread. Obviously, you can't have bread on Pesach, you have to have matzah. But to do a birkat hamazon, but it's praiseworthy to do it. When you're doing a meal, to have it so that you can say birkat hamazon afterwards, at least in the night and in the morning or afternoon. Naturally, there's many other laws. What else considered kavod? Wearing nicer clothing than you would usually during the week. Throughout the week, you might be wearing clothing. Try and make it a tad nicer on Chol HaMoed to let the day stick out, because there's so many things. There's certain laws, the liturgy, for example, or the prayer liturgy on Chol HaMoed, you would add on a Ya'aleh v'Yavo. Every single day of Chol HaMoed Pesach, we say the Musaf Tefillah. We do a special Kriyat Torah reading and portion. Well, it will comprise also of a maftir on every specific single day in of itself here on Chol HaMoed. And naturally we'll see that the tefillah in itself is longer. The Hallel recitation prayer is also added here on Chol HaMoed. That's another integral part here. How about Simchat Yom Tov? There's this concept that there should be extra Simcha in Yom Tov. It's not the same as kavod, honoring, and as oneg, delight. Simchat Yom Tov, you eat things that you enjoy to eat. Naturally, we stated the other day in one of the other videos was in Simchat Bli Basar B'Yayin, to have red meat and to drink dry red wine. That's optimum. To have it to gladden your heart on these specific days. There's many other ideas here on the Chol HaMoed. To go to outings, somewhere extra, so it's going to bring joy, especially keep the kids busy. Obviously, a thought-provocative outing, somewhere where it's going to keep them engaged, somewhere fun, obviously somewhere that is a good environment to be in of itself. That's another definitely a great idea on Chol HaMoed itself. But there's so many different laws of what food can we cook on this day. Can we cook all foods? What kind of workings can we do throughout the Chol HaMoed? Regular task jobs like we do throughout the year? What does that actually entail in of itself, this Chol HaMoed period? What kind of activities do we do? Are we allowed to fix certain things on the Chol HaMoed? That's another question that is posed, and when you're studying the laws of Chol HaMoed, there's so many encompassments on this day, especially tefillin. I think the minhag all over the communities, if I'm not mistaken, around Israel on Chol HaMoed is not to put tefillin on in the shacharit prayers. Unlike maybe in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel, there might be some, I think, Ashkenazi communities that might put the tefillin on for a specific part of Chol HaMoed. I'm not so sure if that's Pesach or Sukkot. Usually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, all Sephardi communities on Chol HaMoed will not put tefillin on. That's another tidbit. We say the tefillah inside the Shmona Esrei of Retzev Atzilenu. We add the Ya'aleh v'Yavo tefillah. Obviously, we add that it's Chag HaMatzot over here, because we know that on the Passover festival, there's many different, let's just say, in of its own right, it's a Chag HaMatzot. There's many different names for the festival of Passover for this time period. It's Chag HaAviv also. It's a spring time period. And there's so many other dinim. Where do we go? Obviously, you cannot do a wedding itself on Chol HaMoed, but you can do kiddushin, you can engagement. People date during this time period also. People go to outings. It's still provocative. It's also a good idea to learn extra Torah on these specific days. So many people are working all throughout the year, but on Chol HaMoed, usually many people will not work on this time period. So it's a time period where, when you're not working, to add on within regards to the Torah learning, to add extra Torah learning, Torah thoughts that we learn about the Chag itself, learn about the month of Nisan itself, and there's so many other things. I recommend everyone to learn about all the laws. So, on this note, here in the city of Ramat Gan, wishing you a Moadim l'Simcha, a Chag Sameach, best of some good things for everyone in Israel. And also Shabbat Shalom, because tomorrow is going to be Shabbat. May all the hostages be returned immediately. I actually met a couple of the people that were hostages over the last few days, and it brings a massive tear to the eye just to think of the horrors they actually went through. I actually spoke to a famous person only 2 nights ago for a specific point of time. So on that note, Chag Sameach, take care and be well, everyone.